Have you noticed that Japanese say so all the time? You might hear so, so, そうです。そうですかそうか。そうだね。そうなんだ。そうなんだね。そうなんですね. They all contain the same word. So, but they don't all mean exactly the same thing. Sometimes, そうですか means I see. Sometimes, そうなんですか means really? Sometimes, そうだね means yeah, I agree. And sometimes Japanese people say, so. What does that even mean? Many Japanese learners try to memorize each expression as a completely separate phrase. But you don't need to do that. All of these expressions have the same core. First, we have so. Then we add a small expressions like so, des, so, ka, so, dane, so, nanda. The first part points to a situation. The end shows the speaker's feeling or attitude. Once you understand this structure, these expressions become much easier. So today, let's learn the core image of soul, and then we'll look at what happens when we add different endings after it. Now, one quick note before we begin. So just remember, today we're going to talk about the compositional soul. We're not going to talk about expressions like 美味しそうです so, that means it looks delicious. Or 雨が降るそうです I heard that it will rain. These are different uses of so we're not gonna talk about it. Don't worry about it. We're only gonna focus on expressions like そうです、そうか、そうだね, and そうなんだ. Alright? Before we start, for years, I kept thinking, I wish something like this existed. A place where I could simply write, get corrections, understand my mistakes, learn naturally. Eventually, I stopped thinking and I decided to build it myself.
It's called Nihongo Diary. Just write about your day in Japanese. Your diary is corrected naturally, the way a native speaker would say it. Then you get a simple explanation so you can understand why it changed, not just what changed. Learn from your own writing. Start your Nihongo Diary today.
Now let's begin with the core image. The core image of soul. First, have you ever heard of the word sore before? I think you have. Imagine that you're holding a book. I can point to a book and ask, それは何ですか? What is that? I use それ because the book is close to you, the listener, and I'm the speaker. So Japanese has これ、それ、あれ. When something's close to me, the speaker, I say これ. When something's close to you, the listener, I say それ. When something is far away from both of us, I say あれ. So これ points to a thing close to me. That's これ. それ points to a thing that close to you, the listener. それ. あれ points to a thing far from both of us. あれ. But Japanese doesn't only point to physical things. That's the main idea. Japanese can also point to a way, a condition, or a situation. Look at these words. こう, so, You don't need to memorize all these today. The important word for this video is そう. You can think of それ and そう as a member of the same soul family, but they point to different things. Now, それ points to a thing. It's gotta be a thing, right? Now, when you say so, the so points to a way and condition or a situation. Now, let's look at an example. A says, 明日は休みです. Tomorrow is a day off. Then B says, そうです. そうです. That's right. What is so pointing to here? It's not pointing to a book. It's not pointing to a phone. It's pointing back to the whole situation. 明日は休みです. So you can imagine B pointing to A's words and saying, そうです. That is how it is. That is the situation. This is a core image. So again, それ points to a thing. So points to a situation or what someone said. Very often, the information comes from the listener. The listener gives you some information. So you point back to that information with so. For example, Tanaka-san wa sensei desu. Tanaka is a teacher. B-san says, so desu. That's right. Here, so points to Tanaka-san wa sensei desu. The previous information, what A-san said. 明日の授業は10時からです。Tomorrow's class starts at 10. B-san says, そうです。That's right. Again, so points to the whole information. 明日の授業は10時からです。That is why so is not simply the Japanese word for yes, right? Now, Japanese also has hai, but hai and so do not have exactly the same core image. Hai is a direct response. It can show that you heard, understood, or agreed. But so points back to the information itself. A simple image is hai. Yes. So that is how it is. That is what I've heard. Of course, in natural English, we often translate both as yes. But the Japanese image are slightly different, right? Now, so by itself, let's begin with the shortest form. So. With close friends or family, you may hear so by yourself. For example, A-san says, 明日休みなの? Are you off tomorrow? B says, so. Yeah, that's right. Here, B is simply saying, that is the situation for tomorrow. But be careful. Because so is very short, it can sometimes sound flat or cold. Imagine someone tells you, 来月仕事を辞めます. I'm quitting my job next month. And you only answer, so. Depending on your voice, it may sound like, okay, so. I don't really care. It is not always rude, but it can be rude, so be careful with it. Friends may use it usually, but your tone and facial expressions are very important here. Now compare these. So, a flat voice can sound uninterested, but so with a brighter voice can sound more interested, right? And so with rising intonation can mean, really? Is that so? So even when the word is the same, the intonation changes the feeling, right? So, that's right. So, really? When you have time, you can practice them, with the right intonation and the right situation. Now let's repeat it. So. Repeating so makes the agreement stronger. It often means exactly. That's right. Yes, that's what I meant. For example, it says, 田中さんって黒いメガネをかけている人? Is Mr. Tanaka the person wearing black glasses? B says, そうそう、その人. Exactly, that's him. A says, 駅の前にある赤いレストラン? The red restaurant in front of the station? B says, そうそう、そこ. Yes, exactly. That's the place. Sometimes Japanese people repeat it even more, just saying, so. Each so does not have a new meaning here. The repetition simply shows stronger and more excited agreement. You're still pointing to what the other person said. You're just saying, yes, that information. That's exactly what I meant, right? Hi, next, let's add this here. So with this. So desu. The des makes it polite. That's all. The basic image is, that is how it is. That is correct. That is the situation. For example, 田中さんは日本語の先生ですか? Is Mr. Tanaka a Japanese teacher? And B says, はい、そうです. Yeah, that's right. Right, so そうです is especially natural when you confirm a fact, identity, description, or piece of information. Hi, now next, let's add ka here. So now we have so ka and so desu ka. The basic image is the same. The main differences is the politeness level. So ka is casual. So desu ka is a polite. Many beginners learn ka equal a question. That is true, but it is not the whole story. Listen to this. 来月 日本に行きます. I'm gonna go to Japan next month. B says, そうですか? Really? With rising intonation, it can sound like a question. そうですか? Is that so? Really? そうですか? The speaker may be surprised or may want a confirmation. But listen to this. 来月、日本に行きます. I'm gonna go to Japan next month. B says, そうですか? いいですね. I see, that's nice. This time the intonation falls, just like, そうですか? The speaker is not really asking a question. They're receiving the new information. You can imagine the speaker thinking, is that the situation? Then accepting it. Oh, I see. That is a situation. そうですか? So, そうですか? Really? そうですか? I see. The same thing happens with the casual form. そうか? Really? そうか? I see. But because そうか is casual, you use it with friends, family, or when talking to yourself, right? With a teacher, customer, or someone you do not know well, use そうですか. Okay? Now, そうだね and そうですね. Now let's add ね. Again, the core meaning is same, just politeness level is different. そうだね is casual, そうですね is polite. The important part here is ね. I actually talked about this in my previous video, but ね, the particle ね shares information or feeling with the listener. So you're sharing the information. You can imagine it as you feel this too, right? For example, 今日は寒いですね. It's cold today, isn't it? And B says, そうですね. Yes, it is. この映画面白かったね. The movie was interesting, wasn't it? B says, そうだね. Yeah, it was. So the image is, so, that situation, ね, you and I share it. That is why, そうだね and そうですね often mean, yes, that's true. I agree. Yes, we feel the same way. Right? There's also another common use of そうですね. Japanese people often say while thinking. For example, 日本でどこに行きたいですか? Where do you want to go in Japan? B says, そうですね. 北海道に行きたいです. Let me think. I want to go to Hokkaido. Here, そうですね does not mean, yes, that's right. It works more like, well, let me think. But the main image for today is still sharing or considering the situation with the listener, right? Now, そうなんだ and そうなんですね. Finally, let's look at one of the most common reactions in Japanese. そうなんだ. In a polite version, そうなんですね. For today, you can think of them as having the same basic core. そうなんだ is casual. そうなんですね is a polite and softer. The important part is んだ, right? んだ is often used when we talk about the background, reason, explanation, or situation behind something. For example, 今日は行けない I can't go today. It simply gives the information. But 今日は行けないんだ The situation is that I can't go today. This sounds more explanatory. Maybe there's a reason. Maybe the speaker is about to give more background. So, when someone said you new background information, you can respond with そうなんだ. The image is, oh, so that's the situation. Oh, so that's what is happening. Sounds like you're connecting the reason with it behind the story, right? For example, 来月日本に引っ越すんだ. I'm moving to Hokkaido next month. B says, そうなんだ. Oh, really? B received the new situation. The polite version works in a similar way. 来月北海道に引っ越します. I'm moving to Hokkaido next month. B says, そうなんですね. Oh, I see. Right, that's the way you use そうなんだ and そうなんですね. Now you understand the core idea. First, we have そう. It points to a situation or what someone said, right? Then Japanese at the small ending. We looked at そうです. そうか. そうですか? そうだね. そうですね. そうなんだ. そうなんですね. But Japanese has many other expressions. そうかな? そうだよね. そうなんだけど. そういうことか. They may look like completely different phrases, but the system is the same. For example, そうかな? We can break it apart. So, ka, na. So points to information. Ka adds a question or doubt. Na sounds like speakers talking to themselves, like reflecting themselves. So, so kana would be I wonder if that's true. So the other expressions with so would be just like that as well. So again, you don't need to memorize every situation as a completely separate phrase. They all have the same core image, so with something. So first, find so, then look at what comes after, right? Hi, now Japanese people use so all the time. You may hear so, so, soです, soか, so なんだ, so なんですね. But they're not random expressions. They all begin with the same core, so. So remember, それ points to a thing. So points to a situation or what someone said. Then the ending changes the speaker's attitude. です makes it polite. そうです か receives question or understands information. そうかそうですか ね shares the information or feeling with the listener. そうだねそうですね that receives the background of situation. そうなんだそうなんですね So you don't need to memorize every single expression separately. First, understand so, then listen to what comes after it. And once you understand the system, longer expressions become much easier too. So, did you understand the core image of so? If you did, you can say そういうことか right? そういうことか right? That's it for today's lesson. Thank you for watching guys and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.